Kung Fu Panda 4. I went to go see this movie and I was pretty excited about it. And we're going to talk some spoilers. And but I'll warn you before the spoilers, so I'll just give my non-spoiler thoughts before I spoil the shit out of this movie, because there's some things that bug me and I didn't really want to ruin anyone who was planning on seeing this movie. Non-spoiler thoughts. Going into this movie, I was excited but also kind of hesitant, because to be honest, guys, I really like Kung Fu Panda 3 now, but when I first saw Kung Fu Panda 3, I was kind of mixed on it, and I still am a little bit, but this movie had me more hesitant because it is a fourth one. DreamWorks always makes good sequels, though, to all their movies. Every sequel that they've made to one of their movies is better than the original. Even to movies like Boss Baby and like Trolls that are not the greatest franchises, I would argue that their sequels do improve upon things compared to the first. The only sequel that they made that's straight up bad is just Shrek 3, but that's a side point. So, I don't know, I was excited about it, but I was also like, okay, but like, it did seem like this movie was maybe going to be missing something, and I finally sat down and watched it. And I'll be honest, I had a good time with this movie. I thought it was fun. I laughed enough throughout it, but it did definitely feel like it was missing something. First of all, this movie felt way more like it was a kids movie, where the other Kung Fu Panda movies felt like they're an everybody movie, or like a family movie, basically. It's weird because family movies have gotten this bad rap now, where if you say something's a family movie, they're like, oh, a kid's movie. No, a family movie should mean a movie that anybody can watch and get something out of. That's what a family movie is. But because so many bad kids movies have come out, they've ruined that kind of idea. So when you say a family movie, it gets this whole negative connotation to it, when really it's not really a bad thing to be a family movie, because Kung Fu Panda movies are family movies and they're fun movies. And I would argue if you're an adult watching them, you'll get something out of them. That's why many adults will watch this movie and not just children. I was in the theater with families and just single, like, grown-up adult men sitting up in the lower seat by themselves away from kids watching the movie as well, because they want to see this movie, you know. And that's great for this movie. But I feel like they're going to get a lot of the humor here. Some of it really worked for me, particularly some of Aquafina's lines. I was actually pretty impressed by that. We're actually pretty funny. It was one where Aquafina calls Master Shifu a squirrel, and I thought that was really funny. And I thought that was a funny line. There's jokes like that, but then there's other ones that you're just like, yeah, this is just for kids. And the humor wasn't as strong. And the emotional weight of the story wasn't as strong as the other ones too. At the end of the day, though, all these characters are so fun, and all the voice acting is great, and all the action is maybe some of the best in the series since 1 and 2. I don't know if it's better than those, but it's definitely like up there with 1 and 2. You know, the way they do this chameleon villain, Viola Davis was great. And I actually thought Aquafina was going to be terrible in this movie, because I hate Aquafina in a lot of the movies that she's cast in. But she was actually pretty good in this movie. I thought she had a lot of funny lines, and actually had her own personality. There was a lot of fun voice actors I didn't know were going to be in this movie. I will say, if you were excited to see certain characters like the Furious 5, they're not in this movie, like, at all. They kind of are, but kind of aren't. I'll explain more in spoilers. And the whole gimmick that they've been saying about the villain, where she shapeshifts into other villains, that doesn't really happen in the way you think, and it was kind of lame, actually, unfortunately. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a fun movie. If you like Kung Fu Panda, go watch this movie. It's definitely worth seeing in theaters. Just lower your expectations if you're a big fan like I am. Spoiler talk now. So the main through line of this movie is that Poe wants to be the dragon, wants to continue being the Dragon Warrior, but he has to pick his successor, which is pretty obviously this Fox character, because that's very obviously where they're going with that. And that's fine. Awkwafina does a great job. I think this is the end of the Kung Fu Panda franchise. Feels like he's passed the torch. We're done. I don't think Aquafina is a strong enough voice actor or character in this movie to carry the franchise. I don't think people would show up for an Aquafina character movie. If it happens, I'll watch it. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think that's going to work. You can't call it Kung Fu Panda because it's not Kung Fu Panda anymore. And that's fine. I don't know. I did think this movie did have a nice emotional through line of like not wanting things to change and accepting that you have to grow up and all that stuff, and I'm like, cool, I like that, but it just didn't feel like as strong as any of the other movies with that emotional through line. That was unfortunate, but yeah, I thought that was fine. I thought the villain bugged me because they have been telling this movie is like, oh, she shapeshifts and oppose all villains. No, the only villain that returns is Tai Lung, and then she brings the other villains out of the spirit realm, but Kai and Lord Shin say nothing, like at all. Their voice actors do not return, and that was just shitty. And Tai Lung says lines that he would never say in the for the most part. It was great for the moments he was there, but then at the end he started saying lines that he would never say. Maybe Oogway wasn't so wrong about you. What the fuck? He would never say that. Like, no. But other than that, I thought that was cool to see Tai Lung. And his original voice acting returning was cool. And then the way the Furious 5 show up at the end, don't say anything, and they're just in the credits. It's just so dumb. Like, why are they doing this? I wonder if they're going to do, like, some spin-off stories with those. I didn't miss the Furious 5 not being in the movie, because the Furious 5 really weren't ever really characters in this franchise. But it's kind of funny how, like, some fans have made a big deal about that. I don't really making a big deal out of it. It just annoyed me how weird it was not seeing their voice actor. And then when you hear this the lowest budgeted Kung Fu Panda movies, like, because you didn't want to pay people to come back and do the voices, like, fuck you. People want to see the franchise, it's like, I don't know. I like this movie. Just some odd, questionable decisions overall, and I was disappointed. But not enough to where I wouldn't recommend you go watch it still. Let me know your thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 4 down in the comments. Yeah. Not horrible movie, but definitely not as strong as I was hoping for.